see more of in this current meta. I don't think it's ban-worthy. I think Vladimir is still up there. I think Azir, Viktor, these picks are still much, much better. I would rather ban them away. Also, you got to keep in mind we have picks like that Jhin, which will probably be very contested among both these AD carries, because MrRalleZ had a great game on it.
Absolutely, and SONSTAR had some great games yesterday, and the potential to set up those picks from so long range. The thing for me is it feels like in that game, Ashe was like a B-tier Jhin. Ashe does so much for a team, but in that game, the only thing it felt like Ashe did was launch arrows, and in that regard, the snare that came in from Jhin, such a short cooldown, still used in the same exact way to keep those fights going.
Yeah, and obviously Ashe, once she falls behind, like Ashe is one of these champions like Jhin where you need to be proactive to be really impactful on the champion. Very hard to do anything once you are behind. Giants sticking to that Swain ban, clearly not feeling confident playing against it. I feel like when you're on red side, you can leave it open. Because now you give stuff like this, and I'm sorry, but I value Azir way above Swain. So unless Giants have like counter picks prepared like a virus pick and they want to run like pick Jhin here, I would pick Jhin here if I'm Giants, and then take an AP jungler, either now or next rotation, and then last pick virus as your mid laner, and you pick this poke composition that does really well against the Azir. I like the Elise. I don't think you had to take Irelia here. I actually would have preferred Jhin.
I do really like, I think the Elise is good for multiple reasons because you're taking away from
I
Gilius as well. You've already banned away the Nidalee. And I like that Schalke start with the Azir because it takes it away from Knight. But you're right, the Irelia is a pretty big question mark. Still kind of a strong, potentially snowballing, split-pushing champion, which I like Smittyj on.
Sure.
But it's not one we've seen success on in the past.
Well, I like the pick overall. I think she's one of the strongest top laners. I just don't think you had to pick in this rotation. If Schalke locks in Jhin and get to run a composition they have run before with Jhin Azir, you have the same setup we had in the last game, just even better for Schalke, because the very long-range poke from Azir combined with Jin's poke as well is so strong. And also Elise doesn't offer hard engage right now for Giants. I really think this is the correct choice from Schalke, and I think they're punishing right now Giants for not putting value on that Jhin in the first rotation. They could have gone Jhin Elise, which I think would have been great.
Yeah, even if Jhin does get shut, I mean, like, whatever poor stages of the game Jhin has, you're not using him as your primary damage threat, right? He's there for the engage for most of the game, and it feels like a perfectly safe blind pick. Now they have the Gragas, they have the Jhin, and Schalke have the core of a very strong composition. 2 carries picked up, good engage, good disengage, zone control. This is just, feels like textbook good drafting coming in from Schalke.
And not just a strong composition on paper, but for this team specifically, it's been the comps they've been doing really well with. So Giants are not only giving Schalke strong picks, they're also giving Schalke comfort picks, which is something they had in the last game with the Jhin as well, and combined with Cassiopeia in that game, worked extremely well for them. I think Braum here makes sense against the Jhin. Braum is not great though when it comes to blocking poke over a long period of time on the tower. He's very good if it's like, we're just about to engage, block the 2 shots coming in, and then we go for it. And you have a Giants lineup right now who does not have any hard engage, who has physical damage top laner, obviously a physical damage AD carry. So if you pick a Varus as your last pick, you're really stacking physical damage here against the Gragas and potentially a tank pick top for Steve. So that wouldn't really work that well for you. So I don't know how Giants is going to pack any sort of engage into this comp against a very long-range siege composition, who already has, by the way, some disengage from their jungler and can get even more now from their support pick.
This is going to be really interesting to see how the rest of this draft shapes up for Giants. But Schalke, with such a strong core, have so much flexibility in their last 2 picks. Most of the support pool left open. Karma, the only one taken off the table. And top lane,
there's more disengage if they lock in that Janna. Jax is an old skill matchup into Irelia that some top laners really like. Can be very difficult in the early game, however, once Irelia gets towards that Trinity Force. So it would give them, again, this 1-4 comps. We see so many teams play split pusher as the one who can sit there, win that lane, always have the pressure. And then the 4-man group together that wants to group around objectives and siege on turrets. And that's exactly what Schalke are drafting. I think the Thresh, again, you can discuss how valuable is he. Clearly is a very, very good pick for sprattel personally. But I think the pick overall is actually not that strong in the current meta.
And regardless of the strength in the meta, we did see success from it last game, and the use of the Lantern and kind of playing back from the Thresh to keep the Jhin safe, it did what it needed to do. And whether or not, you know, maybe a Bard would have been the better choice, it's debatable.
Giants?
All right, let's and this is the thing, is I feel like Giants have been a team that have been steadily improving, and I don't always want to be critical of them.
No, of course
but
not.
the one thing that we agreed on as an entire team of casters, color and play-by-play alike, is that Knight is a god when it comes to engage and team fighting champions. If you put him on a supportive pick, it doesn't work out. We saw it from the Karma yesterday. Maybe he has more experience on the Zilean, but it's still not the style we've come to know from him.
No, I mean, this is I agree definitely if we look at what he's been doing on Giants, but if we go back to Korean Challenger when he played, Zilean was his pick. Like, he was undefeated on it in Korean Challenger scene. He was fantastic on that champion, but I definitely agree on this Giants lineup. He's needed as a carry, but what I also really dislike about Zilean is I actually think he's not a good pick into Azir. Very, very long range damage coming from Schalke, very focused around poking and not all-inning. You don't all-in on one single target with this comp from Schalke that Zilean can then ulti and counter.
It's not a LeBlanc. You don't just get to burn their cooldowns, come back to life, and win a fight.
I really hope
all sustained damage all the time.
Yeah, I really hope, Zifa, that I'm just totally wrong here, and Giants will prove me wrong, and I get to learn something when it comes to Zilean into Azir. It's not Yorick, as you can see on your screen right now. Don't worry. Because I think Schalke has definitely won this draft.
Oh, darn. No Yorick pick.
All right. Thought it was a Yorick.
Of course, we got a little time. We're loading the game here. Tweet at LOE Esports. Hashtag GIA win if you think we can see another tie, if Giants can bring this back. But if you want to see the first 2-0 of Week 4, tweet out hashtag S04 win. We're ready for Game 2. Giants, got a lot of questions about that draft, but if they can execute, it's still anyone's game to win.
Yeah. Again, basically, I am just personally not a big fan of the draft from Giants with the Zilean pick, with the lack of engage coming in against a siege composition. One of the reasons Jhin is such a good pick now is because everyone is building these armor penetration items early. If you cannot get to him and shut him down, he deals so much damage from very, very far away, and you make one mistake, he kills you, takes your tower. And that's exactly what happened last game.
It's so scary in those team fights where he starts it off by snaring, immediately ults. You have to respect the ultimate. You have to dodge these shots. You have to put your tanks on the front line to really block this out. Once he's done with those 4 shots, he walks in. He's still got the 4 shots in his regular gun.
Yep.
He can clean up house, whether it's with the ultimate, whether it's with those autos, and just terrifying if you can't shut him down.
And now, obviously, it's not like Giants' composition doesn't have any way of winning the game. I'm looking at the top lane matchup. If you can shut down Jax early, because you have Irelia and Elise combined very strong 2v2 compared to Jax and Gragas early game. If you can shut down that lane 1v1, Giants have a way of snowballing one side of the map and using that to try and win the game and have a super strong Smittyj. I don't think Knight, I don't think SONSTAR are going to be the big heroes in this game. I don't think they really have a chance to be big heroes. But this is also why Schalke is lane swapping. It's not because they want to dodge a 2v2 matchup bot lane. No, it's because they look at what Giants can do to win the game and say, we don't want to give you a 1v1 lane where you can gank it with the Elise. We just lane swap on you. So the 1v1 is gone now. We spot you here with Sprattel. Also, Infernal Drake is the first dragon, and we see a lot of teams lane swap when they want the first dragon, because then they take tier 1 tower, swap to the other side of the map, take the tier 1 tower there in the swap as we normally see, and then you path in and take the dragon right after. Once you level 3 or 4, and you no longer fall that far behind in experience or gold, because you have to spend a lot of time taking that dragon. So, perfect start for Schalke with having this lane swap. And I feel like they've removed one of the clear ways Giants could win this game.
Definitely good to be aware of. Clearly identifying the opposition's win conditions. Adapting on the fly here from Schalke. The Giants making moves of their own. They're already on the bottom side. Well use this lane swap here. They're burning down that tower. Not really clear who has the tempo advantage quite yet in this
Even.
one.
Very, very even. But again, if you're Giants, in order for you to take that bot lane tower, then rushing in to take a dragon, you need to be so far ahead in the lane swap, which is impossible on the first tower, basically, unless your team is like sleeping or walking around the jungle still. So almost every single time, you need to take the tower and the swap to the top side, or you can return to the bottom lane and try and duel the 2v2, but then you might sell out your own top lane because he has to then take a wave that's pushing away from him at level 1 and level 2, meaning he can fall really far behind. So that's why it's so risky to take that dragon after first tower, and teams like to swap, take tower, then go to the bottom lane, take another tower, and then take the dragon instead.
Formulaic. I think a lot of these teams are used to adapting to these lane swaps, and something we've seen, as you said, take that second tower, shift to the dragon, especially with an Infernal. Wondering if Giants are going to have any kind of adaptation here, maybe to contest this. But so far, Maxlore not moving up.
I mean, one of the ways you can punish a team if they want to take that dragon is when they send their top laner back to the top side of the map. So like after they take the bot tower, the top lane will always sit there and just try and farm whatever he can. Then he recalls often and he goes to top side. You make sure that wave is not being pushed out. You make sure he has to overextend for it, and then you gank him. You kill him, you shut him down. So you say, yes, okay, you get an Infernal Drake, but we shut down your top laner, who in this game is a Jax. If it's Schalke taking that dragon, you can see now they're down on the bottom side. Steve has been doing okay for now. It's about what happens in 2 or 3 minutes. That's where we can see if Steve gets to have an impact in this game. And Smittyj gets interrupted.
Good interruption coming in there. MrRalleZ and sprattel bearing down on this tower. It looks like we're going to have a swap back here. Giants setting up for the standard lanes. This is interesting because we talked about Irelia needing to find a lead, but what Giants aren't respecting here, Schalke are absolutely standard lane terrors. Every time they get leads in games, or every time they play standard lanes, they usually find most of their leads there. So while it does feel like the right choice for the composition, maybe not the right choice for the team, because Schalke historically incredibly successful in those standard lanes. We saw it last game.
And this is something Giants can do now, because basically what happened top was Steve saw SONSTAR and Hustlin move into the lane. So he instantly went, okay, I'm going to push out the lane, because that's what you always do when you see the enemy AD carries show up, because you didn't deny how fast they can push and you get extra farm. Maxlore is trading right now with Gilius, and Knight is moving behind.
Looking for the double bomb. One goes down. Gilius picks it up. Looking for the stun. Flash pass, trying to make it to safety. Can he get over the wall? Knight trying to body block. No! Fat Man finds a way out. Gilius walks away with his life.
Quick on the feet, man. Quick on the feet. But, as we just talked about, SONSTAR Hustlin showed top. That's why Steve pushed it out. Then Giants realized, okay, we can actually put Irelia top to catch that big wave coming, so we can swap to bottom side. What they did lose, however, was a lot of farm on the AD carry. So they valued getting Smittyj that farm on top side. It's either mind games from Giants doing it on purpose to get this wave pushing towards Smittyj, or it's them being very slow to react. Let's just say it was mind games from them. Once they saw the push, they knew exactly what to do. Swap Smittyj to top side. Sacrifice SONSTAR, who's not the way for you to win this game. So it goes back to our point of how can Giants win? Well, Smittyj needs to have a great game and shut down Steve in the mid game together with Maxlore. And that's why they put him top and value him getting farm over SONSTAR.
Yeah, and currently no massive lead for him, but we're going to have to see how that develops. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Knight really taking some time to roam up to try to back up his team there, maybe looking for that first blood, but it costs him a massive amount of CS in the mid lane, about a 10 advantage in favor of this Azir. Of course, Zilean going to even it out on this wave to be about 6 or 7, but still building this up overall.
No one wants to lane against each other, because now the wave is pushed so far down towards the tower of Schalke on the bottom side. So they're sending Steve down to catch that wave and get to push that one out. And then they want to go and defend the top side. They don't want to risk Giants moving in and diving Steve with the big wave on top tower, on the top tier 1. As you can see, Giants are moving with the entire team, because they could collapse on Steve there.
It's ring around the rosy.
Everyone is just going like, oh, I think this is what you can do now to punish our top lane, so therefore we will swap him down, because Giants were setting up for a dive with the big wave, and now instead, Schalke are trying to defend.
Looking to make a play here, 3v3, but the tower there to back up Schalke.
Knight
comes in. Jhin misses the W. Smittyj ready to go forward. 5 members of Giants, 4. Not TPing in.
Nice
Steve
bomb.
good stun. MrRalleZ, is he going to go down? First blood for Giants. Smittyj set to fall, but a great ult from Knight. Maxlore goes up, comes down, makes it out, and Giants walk away the whole team to get an advantage. Great execution there from Giants.
Yeah, one of the really good things about Zilean is how good he is at tower diving, because first of all, if you're defending under a tower, it's very easy to connect the double bombs, and then second, he has that ulti to save whoever is tanking. Normally, it's very risky to go for these dives where you only have 1 member extra, but really well executed by Giants. You see here, wait for Knight to join, and then he's the key member with the double bomb, because now look, you're stuck on the tower, it's so close to each other.
Good.
Great double bomb, they dive onto MrRalleZ, and then the ulti from Zilean onto Smittyj. Really well executed by Giants. still fun to see how both teams are constantly predicting each other. And like Schalke knew a dive was going to be set up. That's why they moved Steve away to make sure he could keep farming, because they also know what Giants wants to do.
And what's really interesting, we praise MrRalleZ for being incredibly consistent overall through these games, kind of like a workhorse, consistent guy on the team. That's the first time he's given up first blood this season.
And it wasn't his fault, honestly. Like, he couldn't have timed, or he couldn't have positioned much better. If you consider the fact there was 2 members on the other side of the tower that got stunned, and then it just managed to reach him as well with the damage. Really hard for him there. Schalke are now slightly behind. More importantly, we got to look at experience and the extra farm in individual lanes.
And more importantly, Irelia is now ahead. This is what we talked about. This is the Giants' win condition. 16 CS in advantage, the completed Jhin to make that trading so much easier. And I mean, if Smittyj can keep growing this, Giants could just run away with the game.
Yeah, he got a massive wave on his way now. Gilius is winning the farm in the jungle, but that doesn't mean that much. Elise doesn't need a lot of gold to be effective. Like, especially late game, she's just more or less a CC machine. That's what she offers. So you can actually sacrifice your jungle there and obviously gain more for your top laner. And you see Maxlore again around top side. I like how Giants are sticking to our story, so we don't have to change our narrative at all. We can just keep talking about all this pressure around the 1v1 top lane. He's always there to make sure Smittyj doesn't get killed and loses the entire wave. And Gilius is here to make sure Steve can push the wave out and not risk Smittyj freezing it. So both junglers...
And kind of a tough place to be in as a jungler, where your presence is so required just for your laners to get farm. But SONSTAR locked up there. No follow-up. I always get excited. Every time I see a Thresh hook hit, I'm convinced somebody's going to die.
Well, if Jhin had level 6, more could have happened. But actually, no. Braum would have blocked it anyway, and we would have gotten excited for nothing.
Don't be a downer to fish. You
I'm
never
sorry.
know.
I'm
Some
sorry.
people flash aggressively, you know?
I'm sorry.
You E in. Go for the arcane shift. You want to fight that fight.
Last game at 10 minutes, Schalke got 2 kills on the tower and won the game. This game at 10 minutes, the same will not happen. And I can say that because we're already at 10 minutes and 30 seconds right now. So it's a very safe...
I feel like you keep undercutting yourself as a Shaghouse. You're like, we don't have to change our narrative. Yeah. It's like, I can make this statement because the thing that made it true already happened. I mean, we can safely say that SONSTAR has a kill.
Yes. The key is to make points that no one can disagree with. So either you make a point and you make sure you cover yourself by always saying, in this situation where the game is this long and this item has been picked up, this will happen or could happen. And not just say, yeah, you know, I think Gilius will be a stronger team fighter than Elise. No, no, no. You got to make sure you really explain it. Otherwise, people can jump on it.
It doesn't sound like you really explained it. It sounds like you...
I explained absolutely nothing
You threw in a bunch of caveats to back it.
I didn't try and make a point.
I don't feel like I'm learning what I wanted to learn.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be something. I'm just saying, you know, be careful when you make big statements. Actually, no, don't. Make your big statements because people want to hear it. Or I want to hear it. I don't know.
I'm a big fan of bold statements. That's why I love like pro player interviews where they just talk smack, you know? Making the bold statements. Maxlore does manage to secure that red buff, so a small advantage gained for Giants. Gold, though, remains even. Despite the kill, CS advantage in the mid lane as well as in the jungle, very much in favor of Schalke at this point.
You're not wrong.
It's nothing about being a play-by-play. I'm allowed.
Yeah, you get to make those statements. Now we get a TP. And I think Gilius is thinking there's a fight, but then TP shows up.
Oh, moving forward, looking to lock down, trying to disengage. Hustlin suddenly in the back line, under turret. Giants grab another quick kill.
Man, Gilius, he was like, they're hiding in that bush. I'm going to get them, I'm going to find them, we're going to win this fight. And then TP already started from Smittyj. And you saw Gilius just flash out instantly.
Yeah.
He was like,
well,
nope.
Good proactive play coming in there from Smittyj. Gilius looking to set up the play. Smittyj says no. They grab another kill, and now they're moving on to the first dragon of the game. Giants happy to have that Infernal.
Perfect.
Another small lead for Irelia to pick up, and the CS continues to be in her favor despite TPing down to help.
Yeah, this looked so good for Schalke when the lane swap started, but now more and more things gone wrong. There's no vision back there, so Gilius just sees all these guys. It's like it's a perfect engage for him.
And you can see he doesn't have vision. Someone on his team told him, like, there's a TP. And that's the panic flash out, runs to safety.
And then the big question is, was it Gilius making the call, hey guys, let's fight here? Or did someone say to Gilius, hey, go there, we can win the 3v3? Because it's hard to like start blaming a player when it's always team communication deciding these kind of things. If it was just him calling, guys, I'm going for it, and he completely missed the TP behind, well, then it's his mistake. And he just cost another kill and an Infernal Drake. So a big win for Giants. Second Drake, also Infernal. So even better if Giants can keep this lead going. Trinity Force is completed. It's the big one we mentioned. Fantastic for Smittyj.
And Steve.
Spotting out blue buff.
Just figuring out what he can do with his time right now. He doesn't really have a safe lane to go to.
And now we can see that same dive happen one more time from Giants because they've swapped SONSTAR to top lane. Maxlore
takes a huge chunk of damage there. Barrel in. No fight quite yet. Fox sitting on the back lines there.
And Schalke is ready again, Sifa. Ready again for the dive. They do not want to put Steve in top lane when a big wave pushes in because they know Giants can set up these tower dives with the TP from Knight. Every time. Azir cannot follow because he doesn't run TP. So that's why they once again swap MrRalleZ and sprattel up here. It's always about making sure your top laners can farm for both teams.
Giants, they group up in the bush. Not looking to let anybody farm, but they will get spotted out there. Denies any potential playmaking opportunities. I would say despite the few engages that we have seen, a relatively calm across the map. Both teams just seem to be scrambling to get farm into their respective carries. Are we just waiting for that setup from Giants, looking for those more dives?
Well, I mean, we're waiting for Schalke to have Ghostplay completed, push out their one lane, like top lane here with their Jhin and the Thresh, and then move them to mid lane. Join their Azir, start pushing in on this tower, apply some pressure, see if you can like shuffle in and knock back the Zilean, and then suddenly you can put pressure on a tower. It's kind of on Schalke then to be proactive, because Giants has a very reactive team composition in many ways, where only their Irelia can kind of be the one putting pressure on the lane and actually forcing something, and then Knight with TPs. He's constantly looking to try and impact these lanes, but the best way for him to do that is by actually setting up another tower dive and then TP in himself, because he needs to always push out mid. If he ever leaves the mid lane and Schalke gets a chance to rotate into the mid lane, they instantly just take down tower. So Knight always needs to do what he's doing now, meet the wave in the middle, double bomb it, and make sure Schalke can't start sieging with a minion wave every single time, and then use your TP to react to what's happening on the side lanes. So that's why, again, bottom lane now, we're looking at Smittyj and Maxlore. All game long have been running together.
Junglers and top laners holding hands on both sides, trying to keep Steve safe, keep him farmed up for that Trinity Force to balance this out, but Smittyj absolutely in control.
And if you play really aggressively as Giants, you can start diving on this Jax and then TP in with the Zilean, where Azir is stuck in mid lane, and you just go straight for the dive and take the tower. That's what you do when you play these champions like Irelia and you're winning your lane. So you can see a lot of damage. Add in an Elise, add in an Zilean, and Steve is dead, and that tower is gone.
Well, an Elise and a Zilean are on the way. Giants seem ready to
set
this dive. Vision is available for Schalke, but there's no doubt the Giants own that part of the jungle.
But because they're running down instead of using the teleport from Knight, then Schalke can spot it and they have enough time to react. Two members are here. Sprattel with the Lantern as well to save Steve. And suddenly this dive, Sifa, I'm not sure if it's going to work.
I don't think it's going to happen. Giants pull off. MrRalleZ, of course, on the way down. They're not looking for the 4v4, especially with that tower in the mix. Schalke responding well, but Giants not too eager to pull the trigger.
No, simply not able to commit. You could clearly see what the call was. Like, they really want to dive this Jax in the bottom lane, but once you move down, as we talked about, Schalke can spot them, can get in position to defend. I think Giants maybe didn't have enough vision in the jungle to go for it, because like if you start diving and a Gragas and a Thresh shows up with their CC, then suddenly it can go really wrong on the tower. We're still very early on in the game. Instead, they're waiting for the Infernal Drake. Big one for Schalke, because they are the team who really wants to group together and start putting pressure on these towers with the four-man group.
SONSTAR?
Ah, he's far back. He's far back.
I was going to say, just standing still there, figuring out exactly what he wants to buy or how exactly.
Scratching his ass. I don't know what these people do.
I like this today. This is like Deficio Unleashed.
Scratching his ass.
There is no chill. Of course, top lane is continuing a matchup. Maxlore here though.
I mean, Maxlore, please. Every single time Smittyj is near tower, Maxlore shows up. And it's the exact thing you're supposed to do.
Smittyj's third summoner still.
Basically, yeah.
Of course, Fox continuing to get aggressive in the mid lane. Knight relegated to clearing waves, and that tower is slowly falling.
And again, you just know that Schalke wants to put this Jhin into the mid lane with the Azir and just take this tower down, because it's so low, and once you start taking down all the outer turrets, split pushing for Irelia becomes much more difficult because there's so many ways to move behind her and camp her. Maxlore again on top side though. Gilius is not here, so that's a tower. Again, like this play from Giants because they're constantly moving multiple members to Smittyj. He's the big hero. He's the man you want to support. And it's paying off. That win condition we talked about so much is currently working for Giants.
Absolutely. And of course, Schalke are going to take this Infernal Drake, but Giants already have one, so it's purely an advantage over to Giants in the end. 2k gold lead now backing them up. Mid tower falls though. Maybe this is in favor of Schalke.
I think the only mistake from Giants is the fact that Knight wants to move away from lane instead of using the TP. Like, there's a reason you pick teleport. And when you have it, very often, actually I would say every game you use it, the first teleport you use back to your own lane. Just to have a strong laning phase. But from there on, you just save your TPs and you use them to be able to move to the side lane so quickly without ever losing pressure in your own lane. The fact that Knight is moving away has allowed Azir to push multiple times, and that was a free tower now for Schalke.
Free tower, but of course a free Rift Herald back over to Giants. That's going to be Rift Herald buff till about the 38-minute mark, 39-minute mark. And things are just getting harder and harder for Steve, and it feels like all the wins that Schalke are able to find, they just continue to have to sacrifice Steve in the end, and this man just gets put further and further behind. You're going to see that he finally finishes up the Triforce, but Irelia is already on to the next thing.
We have to remember, Schalke already knew the top lane matchup when they picked the Jax. And they saw the jungle pick as well in Elise, so they knew they would have a weaker 2v2, and yet they still opted in for that Jax pick. And when I say 2v2, I obviously mean the top lane and jungle against each other. So they knew exactly what was happening. I don't think they expected Giants to execute that dive on top side earlier. That gave them a bit of an advantage, but it's still very, very close, guys. It's by no means over. It's all about the first group from Schalke, first grouping they can pull off. If Smittyj gets to play his side lane game, he can keep taking down outer turrets. There's one on the bottom lane now.
Knight, of course, sent there thus far. Smitty getting aggressive onto Steve. Is he going to look for more? Ultimate comes out, but just going to clear the wave there in the end. You can see Jax cannot stand toe-to-toe with that Irelia at all. TP coming in, Raw's potentially caught up, knock up on one. Are they going to look for the fight? Two members left from behind, Giants now descending upon them, but the Giants are split up. Are they going to be caught out in the end? Hook lands onto SONSTAR, fourth shot. Not going to find anything else. It's chaos in the mid lane. They're retreating through the Azir tower. This does not look good for Giants. A lot of damage on SONSTAR. Flash heal to safety, shots coming out left and right. Giants now on the back foot. Ezreal buying them a bit of time, waiting for the wave before they can crash down.
Yeah, Schalke were finally setting up for that siege in the mid lane with the four members we mentioned so many times. Giants tried to interrupt it, and then suddenly realized the two members was on one side, there was an Azir turret as well, and they couldn't really get a proper engage. Their comp is built around pushing the Irelia.
Stun goes down, Steve barely makes it out, dodges the auto attacks. Maxlore is in trouble! Good hook, great ult from the Azir. Schalke back in this game. Managed to take the tower. They're still behind in gold, but they are making moves. What explosive aggression coming in from Schalke.
Again, finally they get to group and manage to pull Steve away from that 1v1 matchup he's been losing over and over. Another hook from sprattel.
Gilius in trouble. There's no way he does not have the freedom to dodge out those auto attacks. Gilius popped in an instant. Smittyj now looking for the flanks here.
Interesting that he got caught there on the Gragas. He had Body Slam available, and yet he got caught by double bombs and goes down. Silly mistake, honestly, from Gilius, costing now a full tower.
And, I mean, Giants got something back, but at the end of the day, or rather, Schalke got something back in that exchange, but Giants are just extending the goal lead up to 3K now after that back and forth. Absolutely owning the game, but we can watch this one more time. Maxlore trying to make stuff happen.
Yeah, Schalke tried to all in for tower, also using the melee champions on it, and that's why they took so much damage and had to jump up. Great hook from sprattel, making the Thresh work here. And then, I just want to see, Gilius does a body slam. I checked him on screen, it is ready for him. He steps forward here for no reason and just gets double bombed.
I mean, maybe overestimating his ability to read where Knight is going to throw those bombs. Knight, playing the mind games, is able to land it in the end.
But there wasn't even a minion wave. You had no reason to step forward. Because, like, they're not going to walk up there and start hitting your tower without minions. Anyway.
Continuing to hit those double bombs. Gilius, I mean, Gilius definitely needs to calm down here. It's good to be aggressive and on that front line. We love to see those playmakers, but you have to temper that aggression.
But this is still fine for Schalke now because they get to group again. And Smittyj is in the mid lane here with the team because there's no TP for him. There is for Steve. Knight trying again with the double bombs. Don't bring it into the team.
It's not. No delivery system, my friend. That is not what you want.
Hey guys, look what I found. Oh.
If we were playing catch the bomb, all I'm saying is Gilius would have a great score.
Yes, I definitely agree. To be fair, he's also used to holding on to that big barrel, so it's pretty easy.
Mixing it up. Imagine Gragas is a pretty strong guy. Degenerate alcoholic, but a pretty strong guy.
He's trying to beat a front line here.
Maybe looking for the engage. Steve caught up. Lantern's available. Is he going to be able to? Yes, he is. Making it to safety. Giants ready, though, to go in at any moment. Cloud Drake on the way. Steve running down. Maybe hoping to get some vision. Or just the bottom wave. Can't imagine we'll see too much of a fight around this objective, but this is going to give Giants the opportunity to run down the middle lane.
Yeah, you're not that scary. Stupid Cloud Drake. Anyway, in the mid lane, Sifa, we have another setup where Giants are waiting for that TP on Smittyj and Knight. Then they can start moving back to the side lanes, which they can now. I like the build from Smittyj as well. I think going double damage item on Irelia is super good. And then you can go GA as a third item or Sterix as your third item. And then you have tankiness.
Or double cloth armor.
Well, I guess you can go that one as well.
Heart?
Yeah, I mean, you want to reduce attack speed on Jax and Azir, technically. It makes a lot of sense for the fights.
Good armor item. Offers a little bit more cooldown reduction as well to back up that Trinity Force. Get him to that nice 40% mark. Schalke, though, clearing out their waves, backing off. A lot of vision still in this Schalke jungle for Giants, and Smittyj just continuing to pressure out these side lanes. We talked about this as a win condition. Clearly, Irelia has the lead, but, I mean, what is the next step for Giants? How do they really capitalize on this?
Well, that's kind of the hard thing, right? You can use Irelia to play around the lane where there's still a tier 2 tower to gain extra advantage, or you use it to just pressure a lane and then set up for Baron instead. So when she's winning that 1v1 on the bottom side, she puts full pressure on it, and then she starts just moving all the way up to Baron, and you're setting up the vision for it. But then you have to win the mid lane push as well. And that's where Zilean and Azir gets to fight each other all the time. Who can push first? Because whoever has mid lane control gets the entrance to the river. That means you get to set up Baron Vision, you get to set up Dragon Vision first, and that is so key for both teams. If Schalke gets in a situation where they push back on 2 lanes and can't see the Baron, they have to run in and like face check suddenly with a poke composition or siege comp, and then Irelia TPs in behind them or double bomb over the wall, and then suddenly Schalke is dead.
Talked about getting mid lane control. Knight now had the freedom to roam down. Steve sent back, and there's a massive wave at that tower. Giants looking to break another one here. The second to last tower remaining. 1 left in the mid lane for this team.
Yeah, one of the 2 plays we mentioned, just go for that outer turret, was the first one that Smittyj just went for here. Knight moved down one more time. Knowing he has TP, he can always just rejoin his team. Does allow Schalke to push out mid and set up for that Baron as we talked about as well.
Oh,
that's a big wall. Thought he was a little bit closer and then he could have
almost made it over. Almost.
Not a gymnast, to be fair.
No, definitely not. Just a very aggressive man. It's really
very aggressive.
That's the champion description.
Drunk Santa Claus. There was actually.
What if if the lore department at Riot like ever got really lazy? Do you think that would be the description for like they started writing
drunk Santa Claus? He does have the Christmas skin.
It's true, and we can be reasonably assured, like with all Gragas skins, that he is drunk.
Yes, we can. I don't think there's a single skin where it's not. I mean,
when we look at
we don't know
let's talk
what's
about
in the barrel.
champion identity. We don't. It does say Grog, and I don't know if that is specific.
Also, the purple bubbles tend to
be poison in most skins.
Poison. Oh.
So is he like? I think that's actually Gromp buff. As a side note, I don't think.
Well, just when he drinks it, like
yeah.
Blah, blah, blah,
oh yeah.
Coming down. That's how I drink.
We got to figure this out. Different place to focus, of course. Enough about Gragas. Gilius goes to clear out here. Looking back, Cloud Drake still not taken up by either side, but it seems like a decent objective for Giants to pick up, just to clear it out for another one. But Steve is going to be the first one to take this.
Yeah, so Giants have kind of lost all tempo in the game for the last 8 to 10 minutes. And when they were looking for that big mid-game power of the Irelia, where they were pushing down, setting up these dives, they got a lot of outer turrets, but never really managed to secure an objective they could use to win the game. And now Steve has gotten a bit more time. He's gotten a defensive item because he has to build a bit for team fighting as well. He knows he can't really win the 1v1 at the moment, so he needs to have more impact in a fight. This is the Baron setup we mentioned much earlier for Giants, forcing Schalke to move in blind and potentially get flanked. But
all from the Jhin coming out. TP from Irelia, where she's going to go? She's in the back lines. Gilius maybe trying to run out. Equilibrium strike comes down. Smittyj locked up, but it might not be enough. Jumps into Gilius. Gilius set to fall. Giants. Quick pickup here. They're turning their sights back on the Baron, and Schalke have to react.
Exactly the setup Giants were hoping for when they started the Baron. Schalke moves forward, you then TP in behind them, and you get a kill. Still 4 members alive, but they're very healthy on the side of Schalke.
Knight's ultimate available as well. Ultimate going to miss from Hustlin. Steve ready to go in at a moment's notice, but no jungler to smite this one out. Blocked. Hustlin hooked up. He's set to fall. Flash forward from Smittyj. Jumps into the back line. Is going to get the revive off from the Zilean. Jax manages to grab the kill on the support. Smittyj comes back up. 80 carry drops. Giants taking control. Fox running for his life in this exchange, and Giants growing that gold lead even bigger. Are they going to go for the Baron again?
Ooh, again, a little bit risky for them. Smittyj is fairly low, but he got a bit of health back here. Azir's going. No, Azir's out of mana. I actually think this is fine for Giants. There's no TP anyway. Gilius is on his way, but he's pretty far away.
Blue buff goes down, though. Mana bar slowly building up. Dodges out the ultimate Baron. 2k health left. Hook goes in. Is going to hit SONSTAR. That's not going to be enough in the end. Giants take the first Baron of the game 30 minutes in, extending that gold lead to 7k.
Yeah, and we just talked about how Giants kind of slowed down the tempo, but this was the play we also mentioned they could go for. Set up that Baron, push into bot lane, and then TP flank once the phase check happens. So fight starts very early on. Great engagement from Smittyj onto MrRalleZ, and then he knows he will get the Zilean ulti. So second time around, he can jump in again and take down MrRalleZ. Really difficult to deal with Irelia when she has even a Zilean ulti to help her. And she's sitting on these 2 damage items. So much power.
Yeah, and the Frozen Heart now completed as well, so that much harder to deal with for both the Jax and the Azir in these extended kind of team fight situations. And I gotta say, we were really skeptical about how the Zilean would play out for Knight, but he's been doing some good work.
Well, because Giants were able to play around Smittyj for the first 20 minutes, their composition actually, again, as we said, had a way to win the game. But Smittyj has been the guy to look at all game long, and Maxlore has not left his side at all in this game, and they've just been able to make plays together, open up that win condition for Giants. Question is if they can close out the game, because the further we get into the late game, the better it is technically for Schalke with this Azir.
But when we look at it, it's really been a team effort coming in from Giants. It's such high kill participation on every member, but Knight,
wait up to respawn.
Drop him. Gilius looking for the bomb, isn't going to land. Great flash coming in from Knight. Hustlin tanking that 4th shot. Giants going to have to back away here. Ooh, Smittyj.
And while we didn't have many kills in this game, I actually still felt like it was very exciting because there were so many map movements that meant a lot. Like avoiding dives, setting up dives. How often could Smittyj play aggressive in his lane? When could Schalke group in the mid lane as well?
And I mean, it feels like they're both just like biting at each other's heels, ready to go in a second at a moment's notice, right? Not really threatening too much, but if you misstep even once, you could be in trouble. This could be a misstep from Steve. Is Smittyj going to go for this? Dash in, maybe looking for it, going to walk away from the stun, is still going to connect. Good dueling coming in from Steve. Actually was winning out there for a second, but Smittyj now chasing down. Knight comes in, just going to be the escape. Good patience on the bomb. Steve, strike comes in. Can they burn him down? They are going to do it. Smittyj and the rest of Giants pick up another one.
And this time we got Knight and his teleport at the right time. Really good use of TP from him to make sure they could secure that kill. And poor Steve goes down. He was actually back in base at first, Knight, and then Smittyj jumps in. That's why he was waiting, because Knight had to push out that bot lane and then go for the play. And once again, Schalke getting pushed.
And Giants, they're set up on the flank. If Schalke try to defend this tower, they will get dropped. Fox, of course, sniffs it out. He's going to keep his team safe there in the end, but Giants just continue to grow this gold lead. 8k at this stage of the game, now splitting up across the map. Elise and Irelia pushing together the remaining 3 members.
Yeah, the Baron
Head to the
play,
bottom side.
see if it meant everything for Giants. Gave them a way to actually push a bit further in. With more members, not just Smittyj only. Everyone suddenly had an impact. But it's, again, also fun to see how you look at like SONSTAR in this game. He's not really been needed to do anything. Like the entire game plan was just play top lane, top lane, top lane. And that's why Ezreal fits in to these compositions, because he doesn't need help. He can just kind of sit, farm safe in his lane, stack up 2 or 3 items, and then in team fights, you know he's really far back. You know he can always add utility with his Iceborne Gauntlet. And you're just kind of helping your team. You're not the big carry by any means, but you're not useless either.
Definitely a good spot to be.
I mean, it's the dream as an AD carry, right? We're like, all right, my top lane is super fit. I'm just going to land a few skill shots here and there and slow someone down.
It's great because you know no one's going to be focusing you.
Yes,
There's
exactly.
When Irelia that terrifying. You have the freedom. You can like walk past their team casually, like miss position horribly.
And if they do, you just call them out for it. Be like, guys, come on, I'm not the carry. You got to focus Irelia, man. Why are you going for me?
Yeah, that's some good solo QBM. I get that one a lot. The nice focus.
Yeah, nice
like,
focus,
when
man.
you blow up the AD carry immediately in the Fed top lane.
Worth it.
Team.
Gilius doesn't like these walls. The second one he smacks into with the belly.
He's just, it's a rough day for Gilius on this Gragas.
I mean, calling out that kind of stuff is also just mean by us.
Yeah, I mean, mistakes happen. But
yeah.
Of course, yeah, with that particular animation, just a little awkward.
I love it.
Cloud Drake, going to drop for Giants. I mean, you just got to make sure everybody gets 1. Those are the rules.
To make it even.
Yeah. 1 Cloud, 1 Infernal, 1 Cloud, 1 Infernal. Of course, Baron buff no longer a factor in these exchanges. Maxlore, the new bomb delivery system. Gilius was demoted.
He tried, though. He almost ran into his team. I think he did. He deserves a second chance.
He does. Yeah, and I mean, he has had some good casks here, but it just hasn't been... Schalke just have not been in control for so long.
Nope.
Playing on the back foot, and Giants, with such a massive gold lead, they don't really have the tools, unfortunately, to break past these inhibitors, though.
And I think Schalke would look back at this game, even if they managed to win it later on, I still think they would look back and argue, was Jax the correct choice? Because, as we said, you know, with Jax and Gragas, you can't win the 2v2 against Irelia and Elise. So you always have to just give up that pressure in the 1v1 for the first 15-20 minutes and literally just allow Jax to push down with the Elise. Allow the Irelia to push down with the Elise and just always give up a wave here or there, give up pressure, and try and like find farm elsewhere on the map. And that has allowed Giants to play very aggressive around Smittyj because they were so much stronger in 2v2 and because they even had TP mid from Zilean just to add in another bonus from them where Azir can't really move to the side lane. Massive gold lead, 8,000 gold. We're getting to the point though where it starts meaning less and less. Not yet, by any means. Let's get 5 full completed items and boots on everyone, but we are at the point where Giants need to get another Baron and then close out the game.
Absolutely, because this gold lead will not be relevant for forever. And of course, still relevant at this stage is Smittyj does have 1 whole completed item up over Steve. You saw on your screen just a little bit earlier about a 2K, 3K, actually 3K rather, gold difference between these 2 top laners. Good spot to be, almost flame horizoning the opposition. A great game from Smittyj. Now, we just need to see Giants close this one out. But Schalke, they're not giving up quite so easily.
And Steve is just giving up being a split pusher, even though he's Jax. He's literally saying, I'm just building tank. I'm just going to join these team fights and be a tank. Obviously, he won't have the same value the normal tanks would have. In that case, if he gets like a blade as a 4th item or rage blade as a 4th item, yes, he can start being a pain in a side lane again. Just to make it a little bit...
New rage blade, I like that. Get that little spice in there.
Just if he's feeling a little bit spicy. But Steve is a simple man. And he's just building tank for now.
Has to. Giants maybe looking to pick up their 2nd Baron. Definitely looking to pick up their 2nd Baron. Gilius alive and well this time around. Steve does has his TP as well as Smittyj. Wave on the tower. Hustlin taking a lot of pokes. SONSTAR singled out. Both TPs from top laners. Smittyj is in first. Emperor's Divide. Smittyj, the only member left in the team. He's trying to make it past the wall, but he just can't. Ult from Zilean wasted. Schalke just about even in that fight overall.
Schalke now got the mid tower at the same time, are trying to make sure Giants can't start the Baron again, but both teams have wave pushing towards the bases, one on top side here and bottom lane from Giants, and now Schalke moving to Baron because they think Giants maybe commit for the push.
Back and forth.
This is risky by Schalke now.
Dances from both teams, 1 member locked down. Hustlin jumps in. Gilius looking to stop the fight from starting though. Schalke, they're getting ripped apart, my God! Giants simply too far ahead. The double kill coming in for the top laner. Smittyj happy with that one as Giants look to pick up their second Baron.
Schalke saw Giants run towards that top lane wave that was already at the turret. Went straight for Baron either as a trade or to force Giants back and not go for the base, but then suddenly Schalke were just exposed against the composition. They could just flank them really, really easily. Knight had ulti again for that fight and used it on Smittyj. And another win for Giants and another Baron. Look at this. They're trying to force them back to the Baron, but your Azir is down to 40% HP. Zilean ulti is back up in just a few more seconds. Perfect timing, honestly, if we look at the ulti here. Now it's ready. And then Smittyj goes down at the same time. So,
oh my god.
Literally the perfect timing for Giants on that Zilean ulti.
Knight, this is his signature pick.
It is. He's undefeated in Korean Challenger Series. Just saying. And no one can clearly change that because now he's playing in Europe.
Good spot to be. Of course, Schalke, I mean, just falling so far behind this game. It's a 12k gold lead, 11k at this stage, although the gold lead continuing to grow for Giants as they take control of this jungle. But the bottom line is they have to start breaking inhibitors because it's still just a waiting game for Schalke, waiting to scale up, match up on these items, and look for those late game fights.
And it really is insane how Giants have managed to use Irelia and how useless this Jax pickup has been for Schalke, together with the Gragas, combined, two of them. Like, everything else looks so good for Schalke with their composition, with the Azir, the Jhin together, something that's been working so well for them in the past. Against a comp that wanted to kite, like kite poke, that doesn't work. But then because Irelia into the Jax matchup was so heavily in favor of Giants with Elise as well, it's allowed them to get this massive advantage, and they should be able to win this game. Second Baron for them now. Yes, okay, Blade is coming for Steve. Still pretty far away from it. LCS sitting there watching.
Incredibly focused coming in from LCS. Vitality, of course, gearing up for their set after this. Happy to watch how this late game unfolds. This one, I mean, not a close game at all. Once again, incredibly dominant. Giants taking a little bit longer to build this lead. The question is, can they end this? They have so much pressure on the map. Towers are slowly burning down, courtesy of this Baron buff. An Elder Dragon just now spawning. Maybe this is the opening Giants need to finally break through the inhibitor line.
Yeah, they're basically afraid of overcommitting because their comp, again, doesn't really have that many ways of starting fights safely against the late game Azir, against the Jhin as well, because they don't want to risk throwing it away. Knight is getting caught out, and he's dead.
It's going to get hooked up. Nice pick coming in from Schalke. Remaining members are going to be able to grab the Elder Dragon, but that's going to make it much easier to deal with the pressure here.
Yeah, just Knight staying a little bit too long on top side, getting caught out. One kill for Schalke doesn't really mean that much else. They can't really push anything. They know Elder Drake's been picked up. They know Giants is going to return with the Elder Drake, but you remove 40 seconds of only a 2-minute buff, so that's quite a lot.
Definitely a good spot to be. You can see Giants still with the Baron buff, although that one's set to fall off. Just a little bit of time here. Probably won't even be able to push in any more waves with the power. Looking at how far behind Schalke are, as we jump into this team fight. I mean, Knight, of course, playing on the front line. You can see exactly what went wrong here.
Yeah, just no reason for him to stay. Elder Drake was already secured, with Schalke being so far back in their own base. So a mistake from him. However, still Elder Drake for Giants. And I mean, it's so hard for him to dive.
What? But at the same time, Schalke, I mean, look at this. MrRalleZ level 14 to SONSTAR's level 7.
Yeah.
Massive difference in items here. Schalke, I mean, yes, they have the tool to clear out these waves, but do you think Giants can just go for the dive here? Their lead is massive.
It is, and you do have Zilean as well. Like, whoever you send in first who dives for the back line, you can Zilean ulti the target. The problem is for Smittyj, he's not really able to flank, like, in the base and get, like, that great engage straight onto MrRalleZ. And they're respecting the damage Azir can deal here on 4 items as well. Like, if you do overcommit your squishy targets, they will go down very, very quickly. The thing for them right now is just about being a little bit scared of overcommitting.
Gilius apparently is not scared. He stands in front of his base in the lap. Maybe they want the engage here. Well, Smittyj is going to give it to him. Dashes in, tower breaks. Giants getting aggressive. Schalke just have to run away. Gilius, maybe you shouldn't have spammed laugh, buddy. Knocked out of the fight, and now the inhibitor goes down. Smittyj continues to run forward. Giants finally breaking through here. lane in the mid wave, they may just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, we finally got the engage in just to force Schalke away from the tower. That tower was very low though. This one is full HP. Still, we can see the damage Smittyj can deal with these 3 items. 3 damage items on Irelia. He's maxed out now.
Yeah.
2 tank items as well. Like, he's such a monster in this game. It really worked out for Giants. It's always funny then when you have some of these games with these setups. If you watch a second game of this one and Smittyj, then let's say a mistake happens in the early game and he doesn't get this lead, then that comp just falls apart completely and then you start again criticizing it. But here, Giants have really made it work.
And that's the thing, is we talk about the potential for weakness on both sides. It was a similar story for Schalke. I mean, we're seeing the other side. You need to find a lead. If you don't, your comp is going to suffer. And Schalke, they gave that lead up.
Yep.
Now Giants absolutely in control and executing the comp the exact way that we said they had to if they wanted to win this game.
And then also just the Jax, again, you can point it out, how weak it is when you fall behind. Not really anything you can do. Like, Jax needs so much time to be useful. I don't think we're aiming for an 80-minute game, but we have seen Giants really put value on securing big objectives before going for any sort of pushes. So we might just get a 3rd Baron set up from Giants, and then try and push in and win with that Baron buff.
You can already see Smittyj back to split pushing on the bottom side. Maybe setting up for the Baron is the right choice here for Giants, but, I mean, no reason not to if you can secure it cleanly.
Yeah, now it's definitely the right time to do it. Nothing else you can really do on the map. But every time they do it, it gives Schalke a chance to like get a great fight where maybe they jump on Giants when they're in the Baron pit, or maybe Gilius can steal it away. Giants still in full control. 20 seconds for Baron spawn, pushing down. We saw how much damage Smittyj can deal if he dives onto MrRalleZ or the Azir with the Zilean ulti as backup.
Forward here, Gilius and the rest of Schalke relegated to clearing out these waves. Baron finally going to spawn. You see the big purple worm winding his way around the pit there.
Surely must get tired of that route every single time.
I mean, to be fair, if we follow the Monty Doa theory that there's just a giant pool of Barons below the rift, that they don't know that it's the same rift. And this one's set to fall. Gilius comes over the wall. Can he steal it? Knocked up. Is he going to be able to get this? Bombs are going down. Oh my god, Gilius! Hero play coming in. And Irelia dropped as well. Are you kidding me, Schalke? They're turning this one around. Maxlore, he's set to fall. What?
Oh my god.
Fox is hungry for blood. They take the tempo back in their favor. Sprattel moving forward, maybe looking for the hook. Giants, you said it yourself, they took a risk and it completely backfired.
I can't believe Gilius managed to sneak in and actually even get into the Baron pit in the first place, if you consider the fact that Giants had full control in all lanes. Who got to Knight?
Knight. Burned down, he's going to respawn. Stun is not going to hit him. Schalke, are they going to be able to get it? Knight, is he going to fall? Yes, Schalke, they're taking control again. Steve, dodge out with the counter-strike. Are you kidding me? Can they end the game?
Well, they're pushing in. Steve at 1 minute on Knight here. 12 seconds on Smittyj.
Oh, are you kidding me? The hero for Schalke. Gilius first. Fox neck.
They got
lining up
they
the
got
picks.
minions.
Are they going to end the game? Are they going to turn this around?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, are you kidding me, Schalke? They wanted the first 2-0 this week, and they earned it. What an outplay in the end.
Man, I know we kept talking about how Giants could still lose this game, but I didn't believe it. They were so far ahead, but they were just so afraid. And I have no idea how this Gilius Gragas managed to sneak his way into the Baron pit and then steal it as well. Giants, you had full control for like 20 minutes. What?
No way. Oh my god, League of Legends. I have never seen that in my casting career. That was insane.
To be fair, your career's lasted for 4 weeks in the LCS, but
whatever,
still.
dude. It's sweet. It was amazing. My god, Schalke. I mean, look, there's a lot of things that we can be critical about. Giants probably not happy with the way that turned out. They did play the early game insanely well. At the end of the day, Schalke, well earned. I mean,
I don't know, man.